Hey everyone, Miko here with Behavior Analyst Supervisor. Thank you for joining us for our free Wednesday Zoom calls. Here you're watching on YouTube, but you could also join us on Wednesday. If you're interested in the link to these calls to join live, feel free to send us an email at info@behavioranalystsupervisor.com. You can also just check out our Instagram. We post questions every single day on Instagram. We also post the link to our free Zoom calls. Every Wednesday, we go through a different task list item area, such as A-1. We'll talk a little bit about that task list item, and then we'll go through 3 mock exam questions relating to that task list area. We hope that this provides an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about the task list and also dive deep into question dissection. We here at Behavior Analyst Supervisor really focus on providing explanations on why an answer is correct and why it's also incorrect. So we appreciate that you joined us. If you have any questions throughout the duration of this video, feel free to shoot us an email, hit that like and subscribe button for more information. Also, you can always leave a comment and we'll be sure to reach back out to you. Thanks again, and I'm Miko with Behavior Analyst Supervisor. You'll also be hearing from Amy and Kevin. Talk to you soon.
Welcome to anybody who hasn't been here. Welcome to people who have been here, customers, maybe future customers, whatever. We are here to talk about a few questions on the topic of today or this week. And what is the topic of this week? It's A1. I decided to kind of randomly do it. So this is like, I don't know, number 6. We're starting with A1. But before we get started, Amy wants to mention what?
That at the end of today, we'll be giving away a free mini mock. But I think that we have a problem. And Miko and I are seeing the same thing. No one else has admitted. So you have to admit everyone.
Oh.
I don't know if you made Miko go.
Oh, there we go.
Ah, now I can say hello. Hello, everybody.
Sorry, everyone. Kevin forgot to admit everybody. So
I am going to make Miko co-host. Yep, that's what. Sorry,
Welcome.
everybody. Well, welcome. Let me say this all over again. I don't know who I was talking to.
just Kevin and Miko.
That's awesome. I was saying hello to everybody and nobody's there. Anyway, I'm Kevin. Amy's next to me and Miko's over there in Florida.
Hey y'all.
We're going to get started for the second time. Sorry we're late. But welcome to everybody. What we're really here for is to just talk about a concept, and if we had time, we would answer some questions. We probably won't, but I'm going to encourage you to just reach out to us with those questions. info@Behavior Analyst Supervisor, because we're happy to do that. We want to answer your questions and clarify things.
And let me just say it
I was gonna say,
again.
go
I
ahead.
know we're going to give away a free Zoom at the end of the day. So if you hang in there for the full half hour, I'll enter your name and we'll pick a random person. They're new to you questions for a free mini mock.
Yeah, just to clarify, you said Zoom and you meant mini mock.
I did.
So 25 question test, and like they said, it's not published yet, so it's new questions to you. Anyway, so without further ado, our topic is A1. Identify the goals of behavior analysis as a science. That is, it est, description, prediction, and control. That's what we're going to be talking about. So I have a few questions to go through. I'm going to do one, and Miko's going to do one, and I'm going to do one. And then, like I said, we probably won't have much time, but if we do, we'd love to hear your questions. And you can chat Miko along the way here, so we can get some questions answered on these topics. But first of all, let's just talk a little bit about these concepts. So does anybody have a behavior? You can chat Miko or Amy, I think, or you can, I can't, don't chat me because I can't see your chat right now. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at besides the PowerPoint. But chat Miko and see if there's a behavior that we can talk about. What can we use to talk about description or describing that behavior, predicting behavior, controlling that behavior?
Overeating.
Oh,
Overeating.
that's a good one.
Okay.
Wait, I have to tell the people who are here, you future behavior analysts, this is the way to make money in ABA. Go into weight management.
Totally, right? Yeah, you can come up
there.
with.
I've shared my secret as
What's
well.
the app that everybody has? And we
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Noom or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
something like Is it new? might be. Anyway,
Okay.
they said they're behavior science. Anyway, so overeating, this is a great one because defining it is going to be like describing it. But if we're going to talk about overeating, we would say the antecedents that are present. So where you happen to be, what restaurant, what food's around, those kinds of things, may be motivating operations if we knew something about them. But we're describing behavior. We're even quantifying behavior with description. How much do you eat? How many ounces or how many calories, that kind of thing. And of course, we're also looking at consequences, that these things happen in correlation, right? So if you see the correlation stated or implied, you're talking about how you measure overeating as how you feel after Thanksgiving dinner, Maybe somebody self-reports that even, but you can see them unbuckling their belts and laying down and taking a nap on the couch. That's their consequence of the behavior. So if you're describing those things, you're really just talking about description. And you can see how much what we do is in this part. If you're thinking there's description, there's prediction, there's control, it's mostly about description. Then we get into prediction. So if we said, well, when you're in Starbucks, you tend to get the Frappuccino that's like, 8,000 calories and you feel like you're overeating. Okay, so if we're going to make a prediction about this, we're going to say, well, when you go into a Starbucks, you're about 80% likely to get the Frappuccino with 8,000 calories in it. And we could test that. We could send you into a Starbucks. We could not send you into a Starbucks, kind of like baseline versus intervention. Or we could send you to other stores instead of Starbucks, see if that, says something about what your behavior will do. But that's what we're doing, is making a prediction. And then, of course, we test that prediction. And then do we show control over the behavior, that you won't eat an 8,000 calorie Frappuccino if we don't take you to Starbucks, but you will if we take you to Starbucks. And we do that again and again. We have control over your, overeating in that case. Okay? Any questions, comments? I don't know what's coming through. And Miko, you have something to say.
My favorite thing, and I can never miss an opportunity to talk about sports, so I'd love to give another example of prediction. When I think of prediction, something that helps me is that correlation. And so a sports example for y'all, this is a true story from this past season. The Las Vegas Raiders quarterback, his name is Derek Carr. Anytime Derek Carr threw for 300 yards or more, the Raiders won. Anytime he threw for under 300, they lost. And so I can predict, based on that correlation, that if Derek Carr throws for 300 yards, the Raiders are going to win the game.
Yes, exactly. We could see if that controls the behavior. Perfect.
And we do have a question in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So identifying the function of behavior is under prediction due to the conditional probability.
I would say first it's description. You're saying, well, this behavior we think is controlled by attention, right? Why do we think that? Because we've described the behavior happens and then this consequence happens. But the prediction is in the functional analysis when we say, well, we think that it's going to be different in the control condition versus the attention condition. For predicting that that's what's going to happen, then yes, I think we're talking about prediction. So it's kind of both. Yeah.
And we have another question that just came up. Where does the creating the hypothesis piece come? Description, prediction, or the little mix of both?
Yeah. Oh, these are great.
Good job.
Thanks for asking those. I think, and you guys can have other opinions too, but I'm pretty sure that I would put that squarely in the prediction category. You're basically making a guess, right? You have a question that you want answered. I wonder if this will happen. That's really what prediction is about. So I think a hypothesis is prediction. Okay.
I totally agree with Kevin on that piece, especially since when you think about an FA, I think the hypothesis piece, we miss a whole lot, but you do all of the direct and indirect, and then you formulate a hypothesis before you test it in an FA. And I think that's a step we forget about sometimes, but you need those things to happen, and then you formulate the hypothesis. So
great.
And I agree. So man, all three of us.
I know, that's very rare. Yeah. So one more point, which I'm really glad Miko brought up, the sports scores. So even if you're not an NFL fan, you don't follow it, it's like, that's a great example to have in mind, that correlation. And it's one of those that straddles this description and prediction. If you're just describing that, hey, that tends to happen, that look, it seems like when they throw, or when Derek Carr throws over 300 yards, they win. I'm just describing that. So that's just description. And now if you try to make a guess about what will happen next time based on your description, now we're talking about prediction. Hopefully that light bulb for me. So hopefully that helped. Okay.
Let's do some questions.
All right, let's do some questions. Here we go. Like I said, we just got 3. Carolyn developed a chore chart and provided reinforcers for completion of things like taking out the trash, mowing the lawn, making the bed. Carolyn has let the enforcement of the chores lapse from time to time, as parents do, right? But every time she implements the program again, it works. This scenario is best described as what? And again, chat Miko after you thought about it.
Looks like so far A is the favorite in the chat.
Okay, sweet. I love it. You guys are on it because I think that too. I think the key for me as you read it, and I do encourage you to kind of break it down, what might they be talking about as you're reading a scenario? And if some things pop out, like to me, every time she implements this intervention, is because you can see it like that, right? Then it seems to work. So she's doing it, not doing it, and she's seeing, and when she's not doing it, we call that baseline. And when she's doing it, we call it intervention. And it's going back and forth, A, B, A, B, A, B. So it is A. And let's look at why it's not BCD fairly quickly, right? So I'm feeling the pressure. Amy kind of keeps me on track, right? Okay, a correlation. Is it a correlation? Well, do I notice this difference? Yes, I do see that when she's on it, it seems these chores get done. And when she doesn't or not on it, chores don't. But that's not what the scenario is about. The scenario is about the fact that she keeps doing it and not doing it, and she sees the results. So it's not just about there is a correlation, not just describing it. She's actually put it into practice. So if you thought B, that's why. I think that's not quite right. Behavioral contingencies, it's not saying what the kids are going to get or not get for doing their chores or not. And behavioral contrast. But I don't see these 2 different times or 2 different settings where there's a schedule and effect and then there's a different one. It's really, well, actually I kind of do. But again, this is more about the control. Because
quick question about this one in the chat, Kevin. For functional control, do we also need to know when she's not doing it if they don't perform the chores?
Yes, if you want to be a stickler, you'd have to, like, I think what the question is, and you correct me, but I think what you're saying is, well, it didn't really tell me really clearly that when she enforces that their chores are less, and when she enforces the program, then their chores are better, or they do them more. So
they said you got it.
Okay. So that'd be great, but come on, you know that the test is not going to be that nice to you. They're not going to tell you every little thing. They're going to give you a scenario like this and say, well, what do you think? You figure it out. And I think you can see that, yes, that's what's implied, is that when she does enforce this, it works. And when she doesn't enforce it, they're not doing their chores as much. But anyway, good question. All right, Miko, your turn.
Awesome, let's do it. Which answer best exemplifies a description of behavior? A, when we fail to provide reinforcement for the alternative behavior, the target behavior will reoccur. B, I notice that I get jittery when I drink more than 2 cups of coffee. C, he's got a lot of nerve showing his face around here. Or D, heating water to 100 degrees Celsius causes it to boil. Y'all can throw your answers in the chat. Got some coming in already. So it looks like, oh, even split. So we have a split between B and D in the chat, 50-50 here.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so a couple more B's. Well, let's go ahead and go through each one and we will see if we can get to an answer. So if I look at A first, when we fail to provide reinforcement for the alternative behavior, the target behavior will reoccur. To me, this sounds like a prediction. I'm saying that if this doesn't happen, if we don't provide reinforcement for the alternative behavior, then the target behavior will reoccur. So that sounds like prediction and not description. So I would eliminate that one. Then we have B. I notice that I get jittery when I drink more than 2 cups of coffee a day. That to me does sound like a description. You're describing what happens when you drink more than 2 cups of coffee. The other thing here is jittery is a recognizable term. So this is something that if I read jittery and you read jittery, we would both have a picture of that. And so that's important as well. So I'm going to go with B here, but let's continue on. C, he's got a lot of nerve showing his face around here. That sounds a little bit like a threat, but not a description or a prediction or anything else. So that doesn't go with this. And then the last one, heating water to 100 degrees causes it to boil. Again, that sounds a little bit like a prediction, right? If we heat water to 100 degrees, it's going to boil. Doesn't necessarily sound like a description of a behavior. So I think B is spot on.
Cool.
Cool.
Is that what most people said, Miko?
It is. We have, it looks like, quick math, 66% for B and 33% for D. I could have said any number of their private chats, though.
I know.
No one would have known, so.
That's impressive calculation.
Good mental math, Miko.
Like what? 66% almost, right? That's great.
Okay.
Okay. So I hope that was clear. That's awesome. And yes, I love that you stopped on that jittery, because sure, I mean, that could be defined better, but we know pretty much what that looks like. I think that's clear enough. Clear enough. All right, last one. Which answer best exemplifies prediction? A, do you think that taking away his car would make him see the light? B, give him some work and he seems to find a reason to procrastinate. C, don't you think her walk is so cute? Or D, just a little bit of attention every day keeps your pet from many bad behaviors.
We need the Jeopardy music.
I know.
We have Kevin, you're gonna have to do a good job of explaining this one because we have one for each answer so far.
That's the way he
wow.
likes it.
I do. And I apologize to all of you who don't know me. And if you know me, well, then, why are you still here? But if you don't know me, I try to be really difficult and I try to make it seem like every answer, it could be the one. But I'm doing that because I love and I want you to go into the test and be like, oh my God, this is so much easier than Bass. So anyway, without further ado here. A, do you think that taking away his car would make him see the light? So there's a question, but I think a hypothesis in here, right? Well, if I did this, would it do that? And if you can kind of say it in those terms, sounds like a prediction, sounds like a hypothesis. So I like A so far. But as you know, let's find out why the others are not the right answer. B, give him some work and he seems to find a reason of procrastinating. I think that that's stopping short of a prediction. You're just describing that this seems to happen. There's a correlation between the two, but you're not predicting, well, let me give him some work and see if he procrastinates, right? So it's not quite B, guys, but if you thought that, that's where I can understand. C, don't you think your walk is so cute? Probably, it's a nice question, but it's not really a hypothesis, is it?
I feel like that you got that from me. That's probably something I said.
I think I was probably thinking of Ireland. You know, somebody who kind of runs with their arms like this. Anyway, not quite a prediction. If you wanted to make it a prediction, you could say, well, I bet if she walked by here, those boys would say she's really got a cute walk. I don't know. But that's a prediction, and I don't think C is. Anyway, D, just a little bit of attention every day keeps your pet from many bad behaviors. That one's, I'm going to give it to you. So if you said D, I'm being really difficult because A and D are both pretty darn close, right? Are you making a prediction? I think A, definitely you are. And D is first harder to test. What is your hypothesis here? How are you going to figure out whether a little attention actually keeps your pet from many bad behaviors? You have to figure out what those bad behaviors are, define that a little bit better. So anyway, my point here is if you said D, good, but A, I think, is better. It's more clear. It's definitely a prediction. All right. So if you don't think I'm being too mean, or if you do.
Someone pointed out, and I think they made a good point. They said the key word in A is would. That's kind of what makes it that prediction. And I agree.
Yeah, that's great. If you can find those words that say, again, put it in your own words. I love that. So you can just see, sounds like they're trying to say there's a hypothesis. They're going to test it, or it could be tested. Anyway.
Way to pull out that relevant word in a question, though.
Yes, totally.
So Kevin, you have 10 minutes left. Would you like
Oh my God, I went that fast?
You went that fast. I know, it's a first.
Okay.
Would you like to
I get
answer
employee of the month
first, or would you like to do your last slide and then answer questions?
Oh, let's do that. So the last slide, I'm going to take 1 minute. You guys keep me to it, just to show you what's on our website if you haven't seen it already, okay? Actually, what I'm going to show you is a couple things that Kevin still needs to do. But on our website, the first thing you're going to see is these break down the beasts popped up at you. And we have all the dates, I think. Anyway, they're listed here. But they're 4-hour sessions where we break down these questions just like this, but 45 of them. So it's a lot, but it's awesome, and we record it. If you have the All You Need Guaranteed package, all of those recordings are something you get, and we just keep adding to that library. So those are on the calendar here. They're twice a month. The other thing we have are these, and the topic is listed each Wednesday. So you can click on those when you're on the website. And the other thing that Kevin needs to do is Tuesdays and Thursdays, Miko, if I went back to February, they would show, but Miko has these live sessions through the task list. Do you want to talk about that at all, Miko?
I sure would. So we spend about an hour together going through the task list. Right now we're on ethics, but it's more than just talking through it. We provide tons of examples, real life and clinical examples, so you can kind of see that behavior in action. And then we reserve 15 to 30 minutes for questions. And I'll tell you what, people have asked me some real brain busters where I have to report back the next week.
Oh, I love that.
Come with all the questions.
We discuss it in staff meeting. We're like, oh, I don't know. Let's talk about this. Let's get Cooper out.
Keeping us all on our toes.
That's great. It's great. And we should all be on our toes like that. Anyway, just to finish this up, we have the All You Need Guaranteed. That's everything we have with a guarantee, obviously. And there's this individual package, which is a couple of mocks and our videos, but you can also look for individual stuff. And that's really all I think I need you to know.
And I know we have some new people here today. So we do have those break down the beasts that you can buy a la carte as well. You don't have to just be a $4.99. So just keep that in mind.
Yep, thank you. Oh, do we have a winner today?
Wait, we have somebody who passed last week. How awesome is that? We love it when people come back and give us good news.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Congratulations, Regina. That's awesome.
Thanks for sharing.
One more announcement as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than congratulations. Also on our Instagram. So for all of you following us, we're doing a question of the day every single day. So feel free to plug in your answers. We would challenge you to explain why the answer is right, further than just putting A, B, C, or D. And then the other thing is we're going to be doing bi-weekly tutoring giveaways. So feel free to check in on Instagram. We're giving away our diagnostic tutoring session which is a session where we go through a mini mock that you've never seen before, and we kind of figure out what areas are challenging you. Maybe it's your time management skills, potentially it's dissecting a question. And so we'll give you some of our best study tips and kind of work through that mini mock with y'all.
Awesome.
Super. Okay.
Okay, what questions we got?
So we have one from the very beginning. It is, can you differentiate between, can we review the difference between sequence effects and carryover effects and how to answer those questions on a test?
Okay. Well, this may be a matter of perception, but my perception of the difference between sequence effects are really about the way in which you do an experiment. So if you're doing alternating treatments, you need to make sure that you're semi-randomly assigning those alternating treatments. So it could be, especially for irreversible behaviors, think about like the example I usually give is like teaching somebody to swim. Let's say I had 3 different programs to help teach someone to swim. Well, that behavior is irreversible. So it matters which order I put these interventions in. Basically, the first one I try, if that works, then it will look like the first one was the most effective. That's a sequence effect, meaning the order in which I put the experimental designs made a difference in my conclusion. Where I think spillover or carryover for me, if
or third AKA,
oh,
vicarious reinforcement.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. There's
I know.
probably like
Those are
10 more,
AKAs,
right?
Okay.
AKAs.
Yeah.
But if you just think of the phases of an experiment, and if you can kind of follow where I'm going, like if you got baselines here, and then in the next intervention phase, let's say the behavior goes up. Maybe we want it to, but anyway, it goes way steep up to the high top of the edge here. And then we implement baseline again. And the behavior kind of stays up here for a second in the first session or 2, and then drops back down. So when you see that influence in the first couple of sessions or whatever, in the phase change from one schedule to another, those kinds of things, that's what spillover means. It's like the client is acting as though the last session is still happening. And, you can usually see that drop off real quick, whether it's back to baseline and the behavior is reversing, or it's intervention and the behavior is changing. I hope that helps.
And I always also think of spillover, vicarious reinforcement, carryover as something that you learn by watching somebody else. So I think about it in a classroom context. Like, you see a kid get some positive reinforcement from raising their hand, you're more likely to raise your hand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when you say vicarious, that's what I think of too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Our terminology, it's fun.
Yeah.
Nico, do you have another question for us?
There is another question in here. So it's which procedure is used to establish an S delta? Is it positive reinforcement, extinction, negative reinforcement, or punishment?
Okay.
That's deep, man.
That's pretty deep. I mean, I guess mostly it's positive reinforcement. I forgot all the choices besides negative reinforcement by now.
And extinction is one.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to establish an SD with extinction, unless I can't think of it.
Sorry.
Yeah. I thought you maybe misheard that.
I did. I'm like, SD. Oh, what do you use for an S delta? I mean, really differential reinforcement. So I'm not sure how that didn't make the list. But I mean, when you're using an S delta or creating one, all you're doing is the opposite of an SD, right? You're saying, well, in the presence of this, let's say it's me, in the presence of me, you don't ask questions. But when Miko's around, because he's friendly, you ask questions. So I'm the S delta because I have differentially reinforced your behavior. I said, no, we're not doing that. I don't want to hear your questions. Go to Miko, whatever. So I don't know how that, if I answer, I don't think I answered the specific question.
How to establish a stimulus delta.
Yeah.
Yeah. That works for an explanation for me.
Okay. Okay. If it doesn't, like
Yeah.
I said, please email us. Maybe you can give us the whole question so I can see it too. But yeah, if I didn't answer the question, please reach out. We're happy to do that.